welcome to the program via our SOS Telecom guest line, Randy Hultgren, Congressman for Illinois' 14th Congressional District. Good morning, Congressman. How are you, sir?
Hey, John, I'm doing well. How about you?
Well, I'm doing very well this morning. Thanks for joining us. This is, I believe, our first visit together.
It is. Thank you very much for having me.
And I know that you were in the Illinois House, and if I'm not mistaken, you took over for Roscom when you went down to Springfield. Then you were an Illinois senator. But how is it working out for you in Washington? I know you just defeated Foster, and Denny Hastert's seat is back in Republican hands. How do you like Washington so far?
Well, it's been a big challenge. Huge issues to be facing. Feels like so many things that we've got to be going after right now. But, it's a great privilege. It's a wonderful district to represent. So it really is an honor. I'm enjoying it, but also feel the challenge that we've got ahead of us of we've got to get Washington back under control. And I think that's the message we felt so clearly out of this election with 87 Republican freshmen get elected that, we were sent there on a mission that Washington is broken. We've got to change the direction, get it back, headed in the right direction, start shrinking the size of the federal government. And we're seeing that happen. So it's been good, but also there's so much that we need to do.
Yeah, and I think you guys, I know you voted for the $39 billion compromise with the Democrats on the budget, and I commend you for that. And I think a lot of Republican freshman congressmen were sent there with the idea of digging in their heels and never compromising whatsoever. But, hey, $39 billion is $39 billion. I know there's a long way to go, but it's a good start, don't you think?
Yeah, you know what? I do. And to me, this was the realization that we have one-third of government. I wish we had the Senate. I wish we had the presidency. I want to make sure we work as hard as we possibly can in 2012 to make some changes there. But with one-third of government, we got significantly above one-third of what we wanted to get. It's the largest cut in the history of America as far as cutting budget spending. And really, you look over the next 10 years, I think it's $315 billion over the next 10 years. So it's a big chunk. But then we move right immediately from that and start talking about 2012 and beyond. And then we're moving from billions to trillions of dollars a cut. So I think there were some good things in there. I wish it would have been bigger. I would have loved to have more in there. I think all of us would have. But I was thankful for a couple things. There clearly was some action of taking away funding from the Pelosi's health care bill. Also defunded, I think, 4 different czar offices, which drive me crazy that these things are out there. Other things that were put in there that really do get us back on the right track. So I think it was a good first step. Now the real big work is going to be dealing with the 2012 budget, making really systemic changes in direction of our nation so that our kids and our grandkids can have a nation that actually is solvent and thriving and hopeful for them.
Congressman Hultgren, I want to go back and challenge you on one thing you said here, and that was that you hold one-third of the government, being the House of Representatives, Republicans. But in the past, I distinctly remember when the Republicans had the House, the Senate, and the White House, that did not put the brakes on spending in that era. Is the Republican Party fundamentally different now than it was?
I think it is. I hope so, and I definitely think the American people are much more engaged than they were even 10 years ago. The accountability level I see is so much higher. So I do think, and I'm the first one to say I was very outspoken in my election, and I think this problem that we're in is not a partisan problem. Republicans and Democrats dug the huge hole that we're in. Republicans overspent as much as Democrats did. But I really do feel like the Republicans that I'm with there, and especially the freshmen, we are committed to seeing significant cuts. We feel like we're sent there not to bring port projects back to our district, but to cut the size of government to get accountability back. So I do think it's different.
It's over the weekend I was reading about Senator Graham from South Carolina and how he was squawking about an earmark of his own that got pushed out of the budget for $50,000. I mean, when you're talking about earmarks, people like to say, we hate earmarks, we hate earmarks, we hate earmarks. Whoa, unless they're coming to our district. And really, I want you, as opposed to an unnamed bureaucrat, somebody who's not responsible to me, I want you to make a decision on where the money is going to be spent. And I don't necessarily agree with the idea that we can never have earmarks because, doggone it, I'd rather have you distribute the tax dollars than a bureaucrat.
Yeah, and I think the biggest frustration for me is it's really who controls that. What we've seen over the last couple of years was it was used as a tool to get people to vote for things that they wouldn't have voted for otherwise. So, the leadership used it to put people, and this again was Democrats and Republicans that used it, was to push them to vote for something that they wouldn't have voted for otherwise. That's what the earmark was used for. I think that there is a place for local projects and projects that help on a national level by us improving infrastructure, bridges, whatever. Locally, there can be a larger impact when we're talking about, interstate systems and things. But I think what has to happen is it's got to go through the committee process, not through leadership. That's where I think it gets tripped up. When all the power is given to leadership to dole out these things as, basically a promise or a push to get people to vote for something that they wouldn't have voted for otherwise. Instead, if it goes through a committee process where it's open, where we can debate it, where people can come in and see it, where there's the light of day on these projects, then I think it passes the smell test. But right now, we're in such a tight position. We just got to be looking at what is the highest priority of our funding as a federal government. What does the Constitution say that we need to do? And that's got to be our focus right now is sticking to that. And that's what we're doing in the committees that I'm serving on.
Talking here with Congressman Randy Hultgren on our SOS Telecom guest line. I ask every representative at the federal level the same question. And we can talk specifically about Libya, but in general, unless there are incoming missiles, wouldn't you rather see the President of the United States, no matter who it is, go to the Congress, specifically the House, which is where the power is supposed to lie, and ask for the judicious use of our blood and treasure in foreign entanglements? Absolutely, and it's one of the biggest frustrations of the current involvement in Libya is how little information has been given to Congress. It almost seemed like the President waited for us to leave town before this action took place, and we didn't really get any type of briefing. There wasn't providing what the ultimate strategy was, what the exit strategy, what our goal was. We had a briefing that was supposed to be very informative by Secretary of State Clinton and Secretary Gates and others, but I think I learned more from Meet the Press than I did from that meeting. So it was really frustrating that it seems like they're hiding information from us, or I don't know if that's the right word, but at least we're not getting a full disclosure of what the plan is and how long we're planning to be there, and who's really in charge of our troops and our equipment and things. So I think you're right on this and other issues. I want Congress to be more involved. I want there to be more information so that we can make the best decisions for our men and women who are serving us in these very dangerous places. Congressman, considering what Secretary of Defense Robert Gates had said less than 2 weeks before Libya, are you surprised he hasn't resigned yet? I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on there. He's been pretty outspoken of wanting to get out of there, and I guess there's some surprise, but I think they're also trying to figure out who the right person is to fill that spot. Well, he's a pretty loyal warrior, whether it's a Republican president or a Democratic president. The guy sticks around. Congressman, the next big fight is on the raising of the debt ceiling. Your thoughts on that? Well, I think it's a very dangerous step that we're taking to continue to increase debt. I am opposed to increasing that ceiling unless we see something very significant of a systemic structural change. I can't see voting for it. We do need, we need to make sure that we have our sound economy, and I think there's ways that we can do that. Are you there? I'm here. You're starting to break up on me, so we'll finish up here. Anything else? About that. No, I think that's it. Just that we've got to make sure that we have a systemic structural change of how we budget, whether it's a budget amendment or something like that, and then seeing very real cuts for the immediate future. That's what I want to see happen. Well, Congressman, thanks for joining us this morning. We look forward to having you back more regularly, okay? Great to talk to you. Thanks so much. Thank you. Take care.